Before humans named the world, before islands had borders, something else already ruled here. Its bloodline stretches back millions of years to a time when giants hunted giants and survival belonged only to the ruthless. It endured mass extinctions, shifting continents, the collapse of entire ecosystems. Even alone on an island, a single female could reproduce without a male, enough to begin a new population. And still, against all odds, it is here. The story does not begin in Indonesia, where Komodo dragons hunt today. It begins in Australia, more than 4 million years ago. At the time, the continent was dominated by giant reptiles. Megalania, an ancient cousin of the Komodo, grew over 5 meters long and was capable of swallowing kangaroos whole. Dozens of massive monitor lizard species competed for dominance in an ecosystem where size meant survival, and anything small became prey. Within this brutal world, the direct ancestors of modern Komodo dragons emerged. They lived as apex predators alongside other massive Australian megafauna, such as the Diprotodon, a giant wombat the size of a car, and the Thylacaleo, the ferocious marsupial lion. As sea levels changed over the millennia, the dragons began to spread. They moved westward from Australia, island hopping through the Indonesian archipelago. By about 900,000 years ago, they had reached the island of Flores, carving out a new home far from their birthplace. This migration proved to be a stroke of evolutionary genius. About 50,000 years ago, a massive extinction event wiped out Australia's giants. The world was changing. The arrival of humans and a shifting climate began to dry out the continent, turning lush forests into arid scrubland and killing off the massive herbivores that the giants relied on for food. Yet the dragons that had moved to the Indonesian islands survived. On islands like Komodo, Rinca, and Flores, they no longer had to compete with the 6-meter Megalania. They had found a safety boat, a new niche where they reigned as the undisputed kings of the ecosystem, a title they still hold today. They are the last great survivors of an ancient Australian era. Adult Komodo dragons are massive. They can grow nearly 10 feet long and weigh over 170 pounds. But if we look closely at their skin, we will see something unique. Their bodies are covered in scales reinforced with osteoderms. These are tiny bones embedded deep in the skin, functioning like a layer of organic chainmail. This armor is not decorative, it is earned. In their world, peace does not exist. They fight for mates. They fight for food. And they fight for dominance. Interestingly, these injuries stimulate the bone to grow thicker, forging older dragons into walking tanks. But while the body is built to endure, the skull is built to destroy. Inside the jaws sit 60 serrated teeth, curved backward, sharp as razors. These are xiphidont teeth, the same cutting design seen in the Tyrannosaurus rex, a living ghost of the prehistoric age, walking the same earth we walk today. But in 2024, researchers discovered something even stranger. Under electron microscopes, the serrated edges revealed a faint orange coloration. Chemical analysis showed it was iron. This iron reinforcement strengthens the cutting edges, allowing the teeth to remain sharp despite constant contact with bone and muscle. While other reptiles possess trace amounts of iron, nothing approaches the concentration found in Komodo dragons. The discovery raises an unsettling question. Fossilization destroys surface chemistry. We may never know if dinosaurs used similar reinforcement. But in Komodos, this prehistoric adaptation survives, alive and functional, offering us a glimpse into vanished worlds. Teeth alone, however, do not explain how Komodo dragons kill animals many times their own size. For decades, scientists believed Komodos relied on a dirty mouth. The idea was simple. Their mouths were so laden with bacteria that prey died slowly from sepsis after being bitten. It was a compelling theory. It fit observations. It was also wrong. Groundbreaking research revealed complex venom glands hidden deep within the lower jaw. These glands produce proteins that rapidly lower blood pressure, prevent clotting, and induce shock. The bacterial myth collapsed overnight, replaced by something far more sophisticated. Unlike snakes, Komodos do not inject venom through hollow fangs. They bite down, anchor themselves with iron-reinforced teeth, and then pull backward with immense force. The serrated blades carve deep, parallel wounds as venom seeps directly into shredded tissue. This bite and pull system is the most complex venom delivery mechanism documented in reptiles. This chemical weapon transforms the dragon into a giant slayer, capable of bringing down a water buffalo 10 times its size. In a fair fight, the dragon would lose. But this is not a fair fight. The strategy is simple. The dragon inflicts a series of initial bites, then steps back. Inside the buffalo, the result is catastrophic. Blood pressure collapses, shock sets in, the circulatory system begins to unravel. The dragon has no need to rush. It waits as the victim weakens, unable to fight the chemical warfare in its veins. When the giant finally falls, the feast begins. Komodo dragons experience the world primarily through chemistry. Their vision detects movement at distances approaching 1,000 feet, but sight is secondary. As a Komodo walks, its head sways side to side, while a forked yellow tongue flickers constantly, sampling the air. Each flick collects chemical particles. By comparing concentrations between the two forks, the dragon can determine the direction of its target. It functions like a chemical GPS, sensing minute differences in particle density to track dying prey from as far as 6 miles away. The Komodo specifically analyzes carrion otters and volatile organic compounds found in blood, decaying tissue, sweat, and breath. But this chemical map leads to more than just food. It leads to rivals. During the mating season, the island transforms into a battlefield. When two large males cross paths, the ritual is archaic and brutal. Supported by their massive tails, they wrestle upright, attempting to force the opponent to the ground. It is a contest of stamina, leverage, and sheer weight. The winner secures the prime territory and the right to mate. The loser retreats or risks death. Yet the most unsettling trait of Komodo dragons has nothing to do with hunting or venom. It lies in reproduction. When males are absent, female Komodo dragons can reproduce through parthenogenesis. Their eggs develop without fertilization. This process produces only male offspring, males capable of later mating with their mother to restore sexual reproduction in the population. It is one of the most efficient colonization strategies evolution has ever produced, and it is deeply unsettling. To us, it defies biological norms. To the species, it is survival insurance. A lone female washing onto an empty island becomes a population in 2 generations. It is life finding a way, through rules we barely understand. But while the female can create life alone, she cannot protect it. After 8 months of incubation, the eggs finally hatch. But entering the world comes with a price. These newborns are dangerously vulnerable, weighing mere ounces and measuring just 16 inches long. From their very first breath, they are hunted by boars, snakes, and birds. But the greatest threat comes from their own bloodline. Cannibalism is common. Adult Komodos routinely hunt the young. Hatchlings must sprint for the trees moments after emerging, climbing into the branches where their smaller size offers temporary safety. For up to 4 years, young dragons live almost entirely in the canopy, descending only when they reach roughly 4 feet in length. Yet within this brutality lies unexpected promise. Today, fewer than 1,400 mature adults remain in the wild. Climate change threatens to swallow the low-lying valleys they depend on. Human encroachment tightens the net. The very traits that allowed them to survive for eons now push them toward the brink. Cannibalism limits their numbers. The dragon that could colonize empty islands alone now faces extinction on the islands it conquered. If they vanish, we lose more than a species. We lose a 4 million year lineage. We lose a living connection to vanished megafauna. We lose proof that evolution sometimes reaches something close to perfection and stops. They remind us that Earth still holds secrets, ancient secrets, walking among us in broad daylight, secrets worth protecting.